Hey everyone, thank you for having me in this conference. My name is Dyna Suwarto. I am a PhD student in Film and Television Program, University of Nottingham. In this occasion, I would like to present my research about Yogyakarta as Indonesian film capital in 1946 until 1949. This is part of my dissertation about Yogyakarta film culture. 1946 until 1949 was known as revolution period among Indonesians since Indonesia struggled to defend their independence. Indonesia proclaimed its independence on 17 August 1945 after 100 years of Dutch colonialism and 3 years of Japanese occupation. However, in the late September 1945, the Allied troops landed Jakarta and other cities in Java and Sumatra to help the Dutch reclaim their colonial power. Due to security turmoil, President Sukarno decided to move the Indonesian capital from Jakarta to Yogyakarta in January 1946. Sultan Hamengkubuwono IX, the leader of Yogyakarta, offered his city as a temporary capital because he had adequate facilities and infrastructures, and even he handed over a number of funds for the move, operation, and protection of the new capital. Yogyakarta in 1940s was a peaceful and quite developed area. Yogyakarta had extensive and productive agricultural land due to the benefit of volcanic ash of Mount Merapi. At the same time, this region was site of education, cultural activity, and tourism. The education institution initiated by Javanese aristocrats and religious leaders were mushrooming. Simultaneously, the noble established cultural organizations to spread out performance, music, and visual art. The Dutch promoted Yogyakarta as tourism site since 1896. Therefore, several decades later, the city became a popular destination for native and foreigners tourists. As a cultural and tourism city, in 1945, Yogyakarta had abundant movie theaters such as Alhambra or Indra, Luxor Cinema, Patok Garden, Rek, Sobo Harsono, and Tugu movie theaters. These theaters were not only exhibited films but also other performances such as music, theater, boxing, and others. President Sukarno worked effectively because of the support of the Sultan Hamengkubuwono IX. As the result, in April 1946, four ministers, such as Defense, Information, Social and Religion, relocated in Yogyakarta. The relocation of Information Ministry was followed by migration of Berita Film Indonesia, or Indonesian Film News, Bfi Studio in August 1946. At the same time, many theater performers such as writers, directors, and actors who supported the Republic moved to Yogyakarta, including the biggest group drama Maya led by Usmar Ismail. The relocation of Information Ministry was followed by migration of Berita Film Indonesia Studio in 1946. The BFI Studio was located in Surakarta and Yogyakarta. In Yogyakarta, the studio was located in Loji Kecil in the residence of R.M. Kusmargono. Because of the war reigning in various places, BFI spread out their equipment to Yogyakarta, Surakarta, Malang, and Surabaya to cover various reportages such as war, conferences, official events, and people support. With sufficient resources, BFI continued to produce some documentation and newsreels about Indonesian struggle. All BFI films describe the events related to independence struggle to spread out the nationalism for Indonesian. The Ministry of Information financed the production of BFI's newsreels and documentary films. Between 1946 until 1949, BFI had produced dozens of documentation and newsreels about some events related to Indonesian independence. The footage were assembled at least into four short documentary films: Fire Never Goes Out, End of Dutch Rule over Indonesia, Inter-Indonesia Conference, and Indonesia Fight for Freedom. The Ministry of Information, in collaboration with Ministry of Defense, circulated of BFI films in various movie theaters and mobile theaters. They recollected the BFI film for many movie theaters all over Java to redistribute them. Theater and various regions screen BFI documentation and newsreel. The National Archive of Republik Indonesia recorded mobile theaters were organized in many districts, such as Madiun, Ponorogo, Magetan, Mauspati, and Ngawi. The local newspaper also reported the special screening for the military in Salatiga. Ministry of Information tried to reach as many as possible audience to disseminate the nationalism spirit. BFI documentaries were vital to raise international support for the new Republic Indonesia because they successfully weaved international distribution to India, Dutch, England, even United Nations through diplomatic network. After several years, the Ministry of Information responded to the aspiration of Indonesian filmmakers who wanted to modernize Indonesian film industry by announcing the production plan of two feature films, Saija and Adinda, also Kartini, that adapted from popular novels. They also established a film academy, Kinodrama Institute, which was expected to resemble the American and the Soviet Union academics. The Ministry of Information designed the establishment of Film Academy to accumulate knowledge about film. In the beginning of August 1948, the local newspaper reported the development of Kinodrama Institute Studio in Notoprayan and procurement of equipment and supplies for producing color films. Furthermore, the studio had organized two film production short courses for young people. UNESCO brought film experts from England and provided scholarship to study film in the United States. However, all the plans were terminated because the Dutch military aggression in 18 December 1948. Another film organization that was established during the Revolution era was Stichting Hiburan Mataram, SHM. The organization was established by Dr. Huyung, a Korean filmmaker who worked in Japan Cultural Institution and officiated as the head of film section in the Ministry of Information. The organization established a film academy called Kinodrama Atelier. They produced 4 films. The institution gained equipment support from BFI and financial backup from Soboharsono Movie Theater and Indonesian Bank. Unfortunately, the organization collapsed when Dr. Huyung died in 1952. Stichting Hiburan Mataram and Kinodrama Atelier contributed to lay down the foundation of Indonesian film industry. They also educated young artists to become filmmakers and television managers in the following decades. Both of them introduced a production method that combined the equipment and financial capital owned by the state with the social capital and knowledge held by the artists. Yogyakarta in 1946 until 1949 was the exemplar of Indonesia media capital, specifically for film. The study of media capital directed our attention to complex interaction among a range flows, economic, demographic, technological, cultural, and ideological, that operate a variety level, local, national, regional, and global. Furthermore, Curtin suggested that media capital operates according to a logic of accumulation, trajectories of creative migration, and forces of socio-cultural variation. According to Curtin, in the media capital, there is a concentration of productive resources, market expansion, and distribution systems. The theory of media capital is derived from research on modern cities such as Hong Kong, Shanghai, Beijing, Mumbai, Chicago, and Hollywood. Although the capital was extremely limited in Yogyakarta during the Revolution era, there was a concentration of productive resources, market expansion, and the extension of delivery systems. The government generated the capital accumulation because they provided financial, equipment, and workspace support for the creative talents. Among many artists, Usmar Ismail and Dr. Huyung had close connection with the government since they were military staff and bureaucrats. Therefore, somehow they had an opportunity to accumulate capital in terms of knowledge, network, and work facility. The situation positioned themselves into outstanding figures among the creative migrants. The social capital was extremely beneficial to construct their career in 1950s when the war was over. Yogyakarta was an alternative space for various political, military, social, and cultural forces. The leader directed all these forces to support Indonesia's independence and sovereignty. They tried to consolidate people from all over Indonesia to build discourses and networks abroad to gain international legitimacy. The complicated task was possible because Yogyakarta provided a relatively stable environment, safe place, and adequate infrastructure as conditions for the development of media capital. Yogyakarta may take account as the media capital, even though the situation at that time was different from the modern media capital as stated by Curtin. Private capital drives various contemporary media companies. On the other hand, the state capital moves film production, distribution network, and knowledge development in Yogyakarta. In addition, the modern media companies try to gain financial benefit, while Yogyakarta Film Institution struggle to obtain political and knowledge advantages. Furthermore, the dominant trajectories of contemporary media capital is national to global scope, while the Yogyakarta media capital directed their efforts for local to international distribution. All in all, Yogyakarta served as media capital that gathered creative talents for accumulate benefit in the local and international level. That's all my presentation. Thank you for all your attention. Please feel free to give me comments and suggestions. Thank you.